You wanna know how to play GHOUL Banshee? I will show you what's the best way in Direct Strike. Here's our draft, guys. In mid position, Huntress Shaman is something I don't like so much. That's why I'm picking here for GHOUL Banshee, because Banshees are actually the second best tier 1 cast unit after the Shamans. And the Ghouls are definitely a lot better than Huntress in the current meta. On tier 2, we're looking now again like for damage and healing and anti-air. On the right side we see the Roar and Gargs, which are pretty good. On the left side are only Necros and kind of bad anti-air. So the right side is definitely the correct pick here. So next up we see the Kodo is pretty juicy. We don't really need the Dragonhawk because we have the Gargs for anti-air, as I said already. So scaling with the Kodo is here way better. And on tier 3, on the right side we see tanks and worms, pretty good. Left side also very juicy with MG, hippos and chimps. So actually kind of tough decision what you should pick here. We have also the Gargs for anti-air already. So, and also some scaling with Banshees. So I'm deciding actually here to go for the left side, because there are just 3 juicy units and on the left side only 2. So we're starting here with the easy mine first, as usually. So I'm watching who's winning the wave so that I know where I need to position my units in the front or in the back. 4 footies are very likely to win, but also 5 ghouls are pretty good in the opening. Our draft is overall pretty well, and I think that my teammate will lose, so I'm positioning everything as far in the back as I can, so the tower is killing the opponent's units, and we don't need to fight into the league. Yeah, our draft is like pretty good overall. We are leaking a bit of scaling, but the Banshees can be decent scaling, and we have a lot of tempo on tier 2 with War, Gargs and Kodo, and tier 3 is also like a really big house, so I think we have a really good draft for this game. We're now fighting 4 ghouls into 2 runs. That will win, and now I can reposition in the front again, because we want to keep mid control for the next wave. And that's the early wave. Yeah, we're winning here easy peasy, and can then check what the next waves will bring. The ghouls are also really good against the grunts overall. If you just spam ghouls versus grunts, then you're winning pretty hard, especially if you add like early damage upgrades. So our opponent actually has to do something to deal with our ghoul wave, and this can be a hero either, or also just shamans, for example, or magic damage in general. But AoE is pretty good against ghouls because they have so less HP. We have the Banshees, which are actually pairing really well with the ghouls because our opponent needs magic damage. Both heroes or shamans would be high magic damage, which would destroy our ghouls. But we have the Banshees, and the Banshees with the AMS are exactly countering this. So that's why ghouls and Banshees are really good together. Yeah. Alchemist is a way better hero than TC or Naga as first hero. Most people would say Alchemist is also the best hero in the game already. Because yes, in the early game, the acid spray for minus armor and damage, which is really strong, especially with ghouls together. And also healing spray is just giving you more sustain, and the ultimate will basically also give you just more scaling for the game. So always acid spray first, guys, acid bomb, because the minus armor is just kinda broken, to be honest. And the Naga is also like overall like it's a decent first hero, but also not really that great. And the ghouls and the Alch are just melting the Naga down here. So this was not a good hero for our opponent. So our lane looks at the moment like giga easy, because he has like really a bad hero, once losing to ghouls, and he is like not really doing something to stop us at the moment from the push. So the other teams also, the other mates also doing fine. Here the Paladin actually was buying a lightning orb. He kind of has no dispel, it seems, and wants now to have the chance to dispel the bear from the Beastmaster with the lightning orb. I really don't like this play. Like, it's only doing maybe something with the orb if the opponent really attacks the bear, which is really uncertain. So I think that is pretty wasted money, and that helps the Beastmaster just to win the lane, because 200 gold wasted is really nothing you want. Yeah, so at the moment our opponent is, as I said, doing nothing to stop our wave, so we just spam ghouls. Like, you can just spam ghouls, that's very viable actually, if the opponent is not countering you. then you just build ghouls, 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 till the opponent counters you, and if he doesn't counters you, then you just win. Yeah, and so that's the early game plan, guys. We need just to see what the Naga player is doing. Is he doing anything useful? Okay, we see now there are sorcerers. They are, yeah, caster with good magic damage, but the slow is not that crazy. Like, I don't really care about the slow so much, because it's, yeah, it's no damage, it's just a bit delaying my push. But also, the slow is not great against the ghouls, especially because we have so many of them. If you would have grunts, the slow would be like way better, because we have not that many grunts, so the slow has made way more impact. But I don't care if there are 3 or 4 ghouls like slowed. Like at all, honestly. But also the Naga with the lightning strike is a bit annoying, but we should add now slightly still the banshees, just to get the AMS shields out, to also deal more magic damage to the grunts, and also to get rid even of this a bit annoying lightning strike and slow. Yeah. So, if you see Ghoul Banshee, that's definitely a really good pick. The only thing we are actually vulnerable to are summons, because we have no dispel. So Banshees are really getting wrecked from Orb of Darkness, and also just from Farseer or other summon heroes like Keeper of the Light, Keeper of the Grove, and the other ones. But because our opponent doesn't have this, we're pretty Gucci. By the way, our draft has like absolutely no dispel at all, so we would get really wrecked from summons. Also, if our opponent would have like on tier 2 like Necros, it could be also really annoying. But we have like a really big force just to overwhelm our opponent anyways. And also our other waves are winning now pretty hard. So I'm not really scared of anything here. Going for the AMS, as I said. But this draft could also be like, could go wrong, but only to summons. Like, this is like really good for us that he has just 0 summons. Then our draft is like really like at peak basically. And now we have all actually into the magic immunity, and now the Naga with the spell damage, and also actually the sorcerers are pretty much useless. You see here also he's actually skilling the sorcerer's invis to try to hold back a bit, but we have just too much. So the sorcerer's invis is basically wasted 100 gold here, like literally. Because we don't care if he's kinda getting the retarget on the grunt or on the Naga. We just kill it afterwards when it's get revealed. So I don't need a gem here, because we have just too much units. I just ignore the invis. I don't care. I think my opponent if my opponent would want to have any chance to win this lane back, he either needs to go for not skilling Frost Arrow on Naga level 2 and goes for instant Orb of Darkness and just grunts and no sorcerers at all, or needs to go tier 2 for Necros, for example. I think if he's not doing either of these one things, he has like 0 chance. Because our tier 1 draft is just basically, yeah, way better than his draft, and we have also way better hero than he has. Yeah, so in my opinion these 2 sources are pretty much misplayed, and giving us even a better chance to also get an early tower and just snowball this game really hard. Like, the Orb of Darkness is like a giga hard counter to the ghouls, because they are actually, like, you have so many of them. And that means that the opponent can also spawn like really a shit ton of skellies. And I have no dispel, as I said, so this would be really ugly. Now he's adding the orb, but he has also 3 sorcerers. And to be honest, these 3 sorcerers are really just like wasted money. They're doing nothing. And now he's getting like 1 skelly out, but as you see, we have just too much. Like, I think the orb is already too late. I think we have now so many units, and the opponent also built like 3 useless units with the sorcerers, that it is too late to get back into the lane. Like, that's what I think here. So we can just stick to our plan, play Ghoul Banshee, stay tier 1, get 1 more mine if we get a tower, and just keep the pressure up. Because I don't see how this super late orb in this game is kinda doing anything. But if you would add like no sorcerers, just grunts, and then go for a really like wave 2 or 3 orb, then we would probably be in trouble, and then they could probably also stack and get really a lot of skellies, which probably also could be really, really ugly because I have absolutely no dispel. And then the skellies are going crazy. Yeah, but we will never find out because, yeah, in this game, this is not anymore a thing. So, I'm tagging now here to tier 2 because I actually want to get more damage out. So I'm adding here Kodo, will also add next the Roar and the Frenzy upgrade, or also a +1 damage upgrade. Because with the ghouls, you especially want just to do damage upgrades. Defense upgrades are kind of shitty for ghouls because they have so low HP. And low HP means that they will not benefit much from defense because they're dying really quickly. And also get bursted really hard. So you should not really go for like early upgrades on the defense with the ghouls. Maybe if you get pushed hard, but even then it's not so great. So we are just preparing here to kill the tower as fast as we can. Because this is also the big strength of the ghouls. They're having so many damage. The +1 buff of the last patch was probably a bit too much. So ghoul is absolutely meta also and is devastatingly strong if you can't stop them early on. Like you see here, we're even killing like half of the next wave, I feel like, and also applying a lot of curses on this orange player here, that the game is getting more ugly and more ugly for our opponents. We have also the second mine added because we're so far ahead. Also my mate's having the second mine, and at this stage of the game we actually just need to play it down kinda, and the enemy has like a really little chance to come back here. And yeah, so adding more damage obviously is what you want when you're pushing. So here should come down now soon my Druid of the Claw for the Roar. The Roar is really good, like especially because you have so many units. But it's also a bit of anti-synergy actually with the AMS, the anti-magic shield, because this makes you spell immune, and all buffs, also friendly buffs, are basically spells which are not getting applied to the spell immune units. So you need to be a bit like to be careful kinda that you are not building too many buffs if you're AMSing your board, because then they will be useless. So I also added like 2 or 3 archer because I was thinking, yeah, I have no really anti-air, just the alchemist, which can actually attack air units. And he wants to counter me now with Gargs. Yeah, so Gargs are really bad against the alchemist because a lot of people don't know that alchemist is a melee hero, but he can attack air back. That's like one of his specific abilities, you could say. So the Gargs and Destroyer are actually not really good because of this. Because you never want to focus with your Gargs like a hero, because the hero is way too tanky, taking not much damage from the pierce attack, and if he's just hitting back, then the Gargs are just getting smashed in the face. So, and also the archer are really good against the Gargs, so I already prepared for the potential like Garg counter, and now we're really chilling hardcore, adding just the Roar for more damage, and even outplayed our opponent before his counter was coming down to the board. Like this is always like the worst thing for the guy who's like on the defensive position. If you want to make a tempo play to try to come back in the game and to stack with your air units, and then actually your opponent has in the same turn like builded the counter, and not before and also not afterwards. So another thing which you should also know is that you always, if you build like anti-air against potential Gargs, then you should position your first 2 archers on the outsides, so that the banshees are kind of in between the archers. Because the targeting of the Gargs is most likely in the Ray, that they are attacking also the outsides the most likely, because the most player also positioning the air units like on the bottom or on the top, so in this way your banshees are actually not vulnerable, because the archer will kind of nearly guaranteed fight the Gargs first, and then the Gargs having a hard time. Yeah, so that's also really important to know about the positioning. Yeah, and we are now kind of running away a bit with the lane, having easy mid control, can probably do like whatever we want. We still need to be a bit careful, because the archer and the Gargs are still like squishy tier 1 units, so if we don't be careful or kill the opponents fast, they could also fall off like really, really hard. If tier 3 of our opponents is coming out with MGs, maybe also torrents with the pulverize, this could be kinda ugly. Yeah, but as long as we keep the tempo and also stacking here now with our teammates, then we don't need to be afraid. But you definitely also kind of want and need to finish the game quite fast, because elsewise tier 3 might really change the matchup a lot. Yeah, we have also like a really good tier 3 on top. I'm still adding some archers because I feel like we just being so far ahead that the archers are still fine. And now also our opponents like starting to forfeit vote because they feel like they have like no chance. I don't think they have like zero chance, but they're definitely like a lot behind, obviously. And I need now to find a way actually to also really kill the opponents like as fast as possible, just to don't give them any chance on tier 3 to potentially come back. So we're seeing also here now purple, our opponent is adding more and more Gargs. We just added more and more Archer, so this will not be a good lane for him here. We have also the Frenzy upgrade with the War now here, which is pretty insane. And also level 5 Alchemist already, which also makes just the ghouls live a lot longer with the healing spray. And we can now, or we also have to now really get more damage also for the fortress, which is ideally also good against our opponent's ground units. Because we simply need also to kind of finish the game still fast. So I'm going tier 3 now, telling my team as usually, because we have the chimps there, and the chimps are good against all the ground which the opponent has, the grunts and also the casters. They are getting wrecked though from the Gargs, but if I place them potentially a lot in the backline, then they should be fine. And then we can just go for the acid spray upgrade of the chimps and have really good fortress damage to kill the fortress fast. So level 6 alchemist, really good. We want to get some juicy money in with the ultimate. We're eating here even a really big unit, so we get like a lot of money, which will also help us now to build more like units for ourselves. So alchemist is like also a hero which is giving you like insane economy, because he's eating the opponent units and giving you the gold. So I'm actually deciding here to go into hippos, cause the Gargs are losing to the hippos most likely, because they outrange them and doing also really good pierce damage. And I'm on tier 3 now, but GGs are getting called. It's a bit too early in my opinion. I feel like people calling way too early GGs, honestly. I mean, the game is heavily in our favor, but it is not quite over. So I'm also doing now here more upgrades, because I feel like we potentially can just end the game right now. And yeah, the wave was really quickly cleared out, and we actually can even snipe the base, which I would not really think of that it's on this wave over. Subscribe if you want to climb faster in Direct Strike. Thanks guys!